Viewers are already buzzing that some of these scenes are so intense and tough to watch.
How did he do it? What was his childhood like? Now, I'd like to show you something worse.
What has been harder for you, filming those scenes or watching them back?
I think doing the press talking about them is the hardest thing.
Why is that?
That's the work. Like, I get lost in exploring a character and trying to build it and understand who he was and find the truth of it and all of that. And then I get to hide behind that character and be, I'm much more comfortable doing that work than being out in the world, being myself. In particular, like on red carpets and doing like talk shows, I just find it like paralyzingly terrifying. So luckily for me, I don't have to do it much.
There have been seasons, of course, of Monster, Dahmer, the Menendez brothers. Did you watch those seasons to prepare for this season, and did you talk to any of the actors ahead of it?
I did not. I hadn't watched the seasons prior to signing on to Monster. Once I was offered this job, I watched them because I wanted to see the quality of it and see sort of the expectation and rhythm of the show. And in terms of speaking to anybody, I don't know any of the people any of the actors that have worked in those shows, but I am friendly with Sarah Paulson, who's worked with Ryan a lot and has sort of navigated these dark stories. And so I bumped into her, actually weirdly, the night of the Met Gala. I bumped into her and I knew I was gonna do this. And so, like it just literally in like a party in like a nightclub, I asked her, so do you have any advice on how to navigate this? And she's an incredibly wise and elegant voice. And so she gave me some good advice.
What did she say?
Just find the truth, be courageous, don't be afraid of the darkness, I mean, I think in as many words that, like no tree can grow up to heaven unless its roots grow down to hell. You have to go through the darkness to find the light, and that is going to be valuable for a valuable journey to take, both for you as an artist and a human, and for the audience to take also, so that there's real function to exploring dark stories.
In that same vein, have you passed along any insight to Ella Beatty?
No, not really. You know what? She is fully realized. She is a ferocious, insanely talented human being. And so I don't really think she needs any advice from me. I think she's got it covered.
You lit up when I said her name.
I think she's amazing. Like we really, like it's, I've yet to work with her actually in a scene, but I've seen a couple of the scenes that she's shot so far. And I already know she's one of the best actors that I'm ever gonna have a chance to work with, so I'm excited about her.
Beyond the horrors and the emotion in this season, you're also very physically vulnerable.
For murderers, the sexually immoral, sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars, their portion will be the lake that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death.
You're nude, you're wearing women's undergarments, Ed is pleasuring himself. Going into those scenes, how do you mentally and physically prepare for the intensity of those scenes?
Honestly, I felt an enormous responsibility to figure out who Ed was and remain as true to that and courageous to that as possible. And so, I had a little bit of the thing to hide about. My body may be naked, but I'm still hiding behind Ed, it wasn't really me. It was, you sort of surrender yourself as an actor to the character you're playing. And it absolutely felt like it was always Ed on set, not me. And so, I would not feel confident about being photographed like I, photographed naked. I would never submit to that voluntarily. But as the character, you go like, this is, in fact, actually, that scene had been cut out that I was naked when Laurie is reading Ed the Bible. And I said, I really think we need to show Ed in all of his vulnerability and fight it to have that put back in, so.
Some of the scenes, of course, are very gruesome, especially with the victims. Your scene with Addison Rae in particular, I'm thinking about. Please, please don't do this to me, please.
Stop it!
How did you work with actors like Addison to make them feel comfortable in those moments while also carrying out the intensity of your actions in the scene?
I mean, it's always different. Everybody's process is different, and everybody's comfort level and reaction to the darkness that we were bringing to life is different. With Addison, that was one of the darker, more challenging scenes, and for some reason, we just kept laughing. We were just laughing and laughing between takes, and she's actually an amazing actor. She's so talented, and I thought she was amazing in that scene. Great in the character at large, but amazing in that scene, and she'd be laughing, and then the camera would cut, and she's immediately just, pouring tears and screaming and doing such a great job. But yeah, it's always different. It's like, and I just try to, I've got my own process, but I also try to be super respectful of everyone else's process and try to make it feel safe for everybody.
Weren't at the bar last night.
No, I was here with Mother.
Because somebody who was there said they saw a truck like yours.
No, mine ain't, I couldn't get mine to turn over yesterday.
Your voice is so stirring and unrecognizable in this. You only had an audio recording to work off of. So how long did it take for you to craft getting into Ed's voice?
I didn't have that recording until about a week before we started filming, so that was no help. The voice was really important, and Max and Ryan and Ian and I all decided, we all had the sense that it had to be really singular and a manifestation of some deeper part of who Ed was, not just how he spoke, not just let's figure out how to do a Wisconsin accent, but how do we manifest and bring forth this guy's soul and spirit and trauma and struggle in the way he communicates with the world.
That's her, that's Mother. She's inside it. I don't know how to describe it. That body is Mother.
And it was really, I became fixated with what is the consequence of having one reference point in life. He only had his mother in his life. She was his only friend, his only confidant. He didn't have family, he didn't have friends. And he adored her. And all he wanted was her love and acceptance. And yet she told him every day of his life that she hated him because he wasn't born the girl that she wanted. And so I felt like there was just this constant desire for acceptance. And I thought that a lot of his behavior would grow inauthentically out of his desire to be the person that he thought his mother wanted him to be. And that was as much like a girl as possible. So I felt like I also wanted, I had two ideas. A, that it would be a reflection of his psychology, but also that it should somehow feel inauthentic because he was a collection of unintegrated, disparate things that somehow didn't quite all fit. And he says, I feel like I'm a puzzle and none of the pieces fit. And I felt like it was kind of took some courage on my part because I felt like this voice is going to feel inauthentic. It's not gonna feel like it belongs in his body. And yet that's what I wanted. And I had a friend of mine, and it was the consequence of these decisions. I had a friend of mine went to breakfast the other day and he'd seen the first episode of the screening, and he said, the voice sounded really forced, and it's just like a dagger to my heart because you want things to feel really authentic. And I went, right, but that was the point. He said, no, I think I meant that as a huge compliment. You felt like it didn't belong to him. And then you're wondering, who is this man underneath this thing that is clearly not truly who he is?